Many people would be content to kick back and relax as a billionaire heiress, but Isha Ambani is not one of them. She's gone above and beyond to make a name for herself and also step out of her parents' shadows. Today, we're going to be talking about Isha's fabulous life and how she got to be where she is today. Now let's dive into the extravagance of Isha Ambani. Before we learn about how Isha Ambani came to become the woman she is today, let's talk about where she came from. Isha is the daughter of Mukesh and Nita Ambani, who are some of the richest people on the planet. Just how much spending money do these two have to work with? There are many wealthy and powerful people in the world, and Mukesh Ambani is one of the most prominent among them. For over a decade, he's been listed as one of the richest people by Forbes magazine, and on their list of the most powerful people, he's the only Indian businessman to earn a mention. As of July 2018, his net worth was estimated to be about $44.3 billion. And he's considered to be the wealthiest person in the entire world who does not reside in either North America or Europe. So what we're trying to say is this guy is absolutely filthy rich. In fact, he and his family could easily never work a day in their lives. Despite eventually moving into his billion-dollar estate known as the Antilia Building, Mukesh grew up in a surprisingly modest environment. His father started out trading spices before eventually moving on to textiles, and raised his family in a modest two-bedroom apartment in Mumbai, India. Mukesh has two sisters and a brother, so things were a little bit cramped, to say the least. Like many of us, Mukesh was forced to rely on public transportation and dreamed of someday receiving an allowance. However, his father's business soon began to flourish, giving Mukesh the opportunity to attend the Institute of Chemical Technology, Matunga, where he obtained a degree in chemical engineering. Later on, Mukesh attended Stanford University and set his sights on obtaining an MBA. But surprisingly, the brilliant businessman would never actually finish obtaining his higher education. His father believed that the best way to acquire life skills was to get your hands dirty and experience things in the real world. So Mukesh dropped out of school to take over a yarn manufacturing project at his father's company. Still, Mukesh insists that his time at Stanford was still valuable, and many of his professors encouraged him to think outside the box. And Mukesh did just that, greatly increasing the production capabilities and profitability of his father's business. Eventually, he went on to purchase the IPL cricket team, the Mumbai Indians, for the price of $111.9 million. This move earned Mukesh the title of the world's richest sport team owner. Before he passed away in 2002, Mukesh's father did him one last kindness. He introduced him to the love of his life. His father met Nita during a dance performance and knew she would be a perfect match for his son, Mukesh. However, the two had some issues early in their courtship. With Mukesh as a bustling businessman and Nita a schoolteacher, the two struggled to find time with one another. It took Nita some time to adjust to Mukesh's flashy lifestyle, and she often insisted they travel by bus instead of driving in his extravagant Mercedes. Even after they were finally married, Mukesh supported the fact that Nita did not want to give up her teaching career. Eventually, Mukesh and Nita moved into the 27-story Antilia Building, which is considered the world's most expensive residential property, following right behind Buckingham Palace. Just the keep-up on his place alone requires a staff of 600 people to take care of the 160-car garage, 3 helipads, private movie theater, swimming pool, and more. Mukesh and Nita would eventually have 3 children, 2 sons and 1 daughter named Isha Ambani. Being the only girl child in the family meant that Isha got a lot of attention growing up. She was reportedly her grandfather's favorite grandchild, and he would start out each and every day by looking at a photo of her before breakfast. Being the daughter of the billionaire chairman of Reliance Industries would be enough for some people, but Isha refused to let her father's success define her. Instead, she decided to make her mark on the world in her own way, rather than settling for her father's accomplishments. Isha decided to attend the prestigious Yale University, where she received an undergraduate degree in psychology and South Asian studies. But before she could graduate, Isha was expected to make her society debut. When she was 20 years old and a senior at Yale, her father, Mukesh, presented her at the formal Le Bal des Débutantes in Paris. The lavish event was hosted at the Hotel de Crillon. the definition of a luxury hotel, which has hosted the event for decades. While Isha had plenty to do in order to prepare for the ball, her father had some things to take care of as well. In order to present his beloved daughter properly, Mukesh took some ballroom dancing and etiquette classes before the event. Mukesh had long mastered the art of business, but presenting his daughter at a formal ball was something else entirely, and he wanted to make sure everything was perfect for Isha. Mukesh and his wife Nita escorted Isha to the Place de la Concorde to attend the event. Each year, the proceeds from the Le Bal des Débutantes goes to a different charity, and this particular year, it would benefit the Children in Asia charity, which helps children in Southeast Asia. In 2012, the opening dance was performed by Sophia Rose Stallone, who was accompanied by her famous father, Sylvester Stallone. Instead of a tuxedo, Mukesh wore an Indian Nehru jacket, and his wife Nita wore a beautiful Indian sari. For her debut, Isha was dressed in a positively immaculate gown by Christian Dior. But making appearances at glamorous parties wasn't all Isha did prior to graduating from Yale. While home on a holiday break, Isha spoke with her father about the importance of broadband internet. She managed to convince Mukesh that without it, India would be left behind in the dust. According to Mukesh, Isha's ideas were what inspired him to launch Jio Infocom Limited, more commonly referred to as Jio, which has its own 4G smartphone brand named Life. Since its launch, Jio has maintained a top 5 spot in India's telecommunication services. Isha was accomplishing no shortage of amazing things, even before she graduated from college. Having a father who owns a massively successful corporation means that many people expected Isha to start working for Reliance Industries immediately. But she had other things in mind. Upon graduation, she took on a position with McKinsey & Company, located in New York. Many people believed this career move was strategic on her part, and that she hoped to learn some skills and strategies to take with her when she eventually moved over to Reliance Industries. To us outsiders, Isha making a pit stop on her way to the family business may seem strange, but it's actually common. Many heirs and heiresses take on other prominent positions before ultimately joining the family business. After all, it's a great way to learn new ideas and ways of thinking that can be brought into the existing business. And among such positions, consulting is a popular option since it gives employees exposure to things like day-to-day operations, finance, strategy, and more. It's clear that Isha doesn't take her family's business for granted and wants to make sure she earns her place and is able to make contributions. But there was a time when Isha wasn't sure if she would follow in her father's footsteps. In fact, she wondered if she might follow her mother, Nita, into the world of teaching. But deep down, Isha admits she knew she would eventually be working in the family business. Her parents raised her to believe that family always comes first, and she feels that extends to her, both personally and professionally. Eventually, Isha joined her father's company, but being the boss's daughter comes with its own set of challenges. She claims the pressure put upon her is immense, as all eyes are on each and every move she makes. Isha feels as though she has to work twice as hard as the average employee, and that people are always expecting her to fail. But thankfully, Isha's time there has been successful, so far. And she even oversaw the launch of Jio. The service now has over 120 million subscribers. When it comes to business, Isha isn't one to play it safe and believes the more ambitious the project, the better. Jio helped bring India into the digital age, and Isha also works on the subsidiary Reliance Retail, which is India's largest retail company. She launched Ajio, an online fashion retailer which sells a mix of Western and traditional Indian clothing. Not only is Isha doing her part to help her family, but she hopes to be an inspiration to other women as well. India has one of the largest gender gaps in the world in terms of economic participation, with women making up only 23% of the workforce. Isha says she hopes her career will help encourage more Indian women to join the workforce, and she wants to create a welcoming environment for them. She's the first to acknowledge that she's lived a very privileged life, but she firmly believes this makes her responsible for giving back to her community. She helped start the Reliance Foundation's digital education program, which helps teachers in rural parts of India gain important information on a digital platform. Isha knows that access to technology can greatly improve people's lives, and she wants to make sure as many people have it as possible. There's no doubt that Isha has lived a remarkably unique life, but she managed to find a partner who grew up in similar circumstances. Isha and Anand Piramal grew up together, and his father is chairman of the Piramal Group. Both Isha and Anand are involved in their parents' companies and graduated from Ivy League schools. After graduating from Harvard Business School, Anand began 2 companies of his own, in addition to becoming the executive director of Piramal Enterprises. It seems like these two are as close to a perfect match as you can possibly get. To say the wedding of Isha and Anand will be a lavish affair is perhaps the understatement of the century. To put things into perspective, think for a moment about the highly publicized wedding between Prince Charles and Diana. In today's dollars, that wedding cost about $110 million. The wedding between Isha and Anand is reported to cost nearly as much, an estimated $100 million. The wedding will be a week-long affair involving celebrity guests such as Beyoncé, politicians including Hillary Clinton, and many other big names. Some brides arrange a hotel block for their guests, but this wedding requires at least 5 five-star hotels to hold everyone. The ceremony itself will be held in Mukesh's home, the incredible Antilia building in Mumbai, while the following events will occur in the city of Udaipur. Although this is clearly a star-studded event with no expense spared, the people of Udaipur will benefit as well. Isha's family has donated a massive amount of food, enough to feed 5,100 people 3 meals a day for 4 days. In addition to feeding the masses, they'll also be entertaining them with a bazaar featuring 108 traditional Indian pieces of artwork by local artisans. It's not quite a private concert performed by Beyoncé, but we're guessing the people of Udaipur won't be complaining. What do you think about the exciting life of Isha Ambani? Is she just another wealthy heiress, or are you impressed by what she's accomplished so far? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section, and then click on the subscribe button to get access to the latest videos from us here at TheTalko. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.